I'm Jenna.
And I'm Erin.
And welcome to Between Two Filing Cabinets, where we bring you tips, trends, troubles, and stories from HR. Mm-hmm. And one of the top trends that we are seeing is people analytics. We know it's in the top 10 trends for 2018 in terms of HR types of trends. We know it's something that people are really needing to look at and starting to look at, but maybe sometimes have some hesitancy,
and I think some confusion as to what it is in the first place. And it has been on the rise just rapidly, like all of a sudden on the map. It used to be kind of performance management. Now performance management's like long gone from the list, and it's all about people analytics. And so I get a lot of question marks, or like myself, when I first saw it, I was like, like assessments,
right,
and I'm like,
I've done those before.
Myers-Briggs or DISC, or Hogan,
yeah.
or you see something like, what color is my personality? I'm a red hat or something. I mean, there's so many,
right, yeah.
And it's not the same thing. I mean, yes, there is an assessment component to it, but what really makes analytics different is what you can do with that assessment, how you analyze that data.
Right, because it seems like a lot of assessments that you take, they just give you, like, this is what you are, but they don't give you, like, the actual tools to actually incorporate that.
No, and actually I think a lot of assessments out there are marketing themselves as analytics when really they don't have much to offer in that department. They might be able to offer you something as far as how to analyze your team and kind of the way that people work together, but not much beyond that, except for, from what we could see, predictive index.
So predictive index, we have a partnership with them, and they are top of the line in terms of people analytics. So maybe can you talk about what the difference between sort of the analytics versus the assessments?
Yeah, absolutely. So with the assessment, I can find out, like, Jenna, I'm going to have you do the assessment with PI. It takes about 6.5 minutes basically to do it. And I'm going to learn all of this cool information about you that's relevant to the workplace. I'm going to learn how you like to delegate. I'm going to learn, whether you're a big picture thinker, do you think out loud? Do you want to drive? Are you more comfortable collaborating? I'm going to find out all of this rich information. And if it was just an assessment, I'd be like, cool. And then, like, that's all I could do with that.
Right.
I'd be like, that's nice to know. And maybe I could kind of try to tailor it, my coaching around it.
Sure.
Right? Or I might be like, oh, you guys are different. So with the analytics that the predictive index offers, there's a whole, like, a suite of tools that the software provides where I can say, hey, is Jenna going to be a good match for this specific position?
Right. That's one of the things that I love the most about it when I talk to companies about the hiring aspect and kind of like, okay, here's the profile of what you are looking for in a candidate, and here's your candidates, and here, how do they match up? And it's just so easy because you have a pattern and another pattern.
Right.
And it gives you interview questions also based on that.
No, so I mean, I can customize, like, okay, so we're hiring for this position. We're hiring for, whatever position. It could be bank teller, right? And it's bank teller, what do we need for this position? I can come up with this, like, this pattern. This is what we want. And then I can run candidates by it, because again, it's 6.5 minutes. It's not going to be a big deal. So fast. And I could say, oh, hey, Jenna applied for this. She's like the perfect match for this. And from there, like you said, it can generate interview questions where I should be focusing on that person. If I, we're like, oh, great, Jenna is this perfect match for this position. It comes with a bunch of tools to assess, like, okay, how do I quickly onboard this person? How do I develop that person? And it's the entire employee life cycle, really, too. I mean, so succession planning has been something that we're hearing more and more, getting a lot of more requests from members. Right. Okay, we have a lot of people who are kind of getting close to retirement, kind of a theme, as we see boomers kind of reaching that age, not really knowing what to do as far as that succession planning. And so predictive index with that analytics can take a look at all of the different positions you have, all of the different people that you currently have, maybe where there might be a fit moving them up, and then gives you tools as to how to do that and actually how to accomplish developing them into those positions.
Right. And then it also helps you be able to matrix the whole team using those analytics as well. So it's not just managing and leading the individual, it's the whole team.
No, it's cool. You can, like we've done here with Cascade, we can come up with our own Cascade culture, like what's our cascade pattern, like if we take everybody and look at it, and how are we stacked up, what do we look like to the outside world, it can provide for some really meaningful conversation about culture. You can do it by department or different teams, which is so helpful. You're like, why are IT and marketing always at it, and you're like, oh well, this is your team profile for one versus another, and you can get all these different insights as to why there might be some butting heads.
And we've talked about in other episodes the importance of the relationship. And that's one of the things that I also love about, yes, it's using science and analytics, but it is really about creating strong relationships and healthy relationships. And it's up, it's at the same level, and it's down. And so it's great because, if you're bringing someone new into the organization, as if you're going to be leading them, like, hey, this person's going to need face time with you. This person's going to need time to process. And so it tees you up for success, but also tees them up for success because they're better equipped to say, like, hey, if this is your boss, this is what they're going to need from you. Or this is your coworker, and this is what they need. So when we talk about that fundamental piece of the relationship in the workplace and creating that employee experience, if we really start from that relationship side of things, which just gives it to you.
It just gives it to you. It's so true. I mean, a lot of times when we talk about building that relationship in our coaching classes or leadership classes, you can just see like the exhaustion kind of spread over people's minds. Like, oh my gosh, this is going to take so much time.
Because they don't know how to do it.
They don't know how to do it. And even people who do have like really high emotional intelligence and maybe are kind of really people connected, it's still, they're a little bit like, oh gosh, this is going to require a lot of work. And that's one of the nice things about the analytics part is that it does the work for you.
Yeah, I really like that. It's the whole employment relationship, and it does start with it's 6 minutes, which we were skeptics too. It's pretty amazing, and I think if you are looking at trying to get ahead of this and really take that next step, and because that's what we look at those trends is CEOs and business owners, they're expecting your HR people to be business savvy as well, and understanding some of the statistical sides of things. And so this does a lot of some of that side of things, but then you can apply it in so many other ways, and just watch your numbers change. Your turnover will go down, performance will go up. All of those things that we know are essential to high performing, highly engaged workforce. This is a great way to get you started down that path. Yeah,
people say, well, if only we could kind of predict workplace performance. And I'm like, well, no, actually there's validity studies that show that when you're using all the different assessments that PI comes with, you're getting close to like 50% predictive of workplace success and performance. Whereas if you're just interviewing alone, it's about 6% predictive. So there's actually like a lot of studies and that support that from a scientific standpoint, which surprises a lot of people because they think, oh, it's all mystery, it's all guesswork. It's not.
And it's funny because you might be hearing like 50%. Oh, that's not very good. But when you look at like the 6%, that's huge. I mean, that's a huge statistical there.
So a couple tips, I guess, if you are thinking about getting into analytics, know the difference between analytics and an assessment. Right. Know what you're getting. There are a lot of because this is big now, Deloitte and everybody's talking about people analytics. There are like every day there's a new competitor on the horizon. Somebody new is coming out with their own version of something. And so some tips to just what to look for. One is, how long has the outfit been around? Like, for instance, predictive index has been around for decades, hence the 500 validity studies that are behind it, right? So how long has it been, and has it been tested specifically on that tool or something kind of like it, right? Another big one to kind of keep an eye out for is whether or not it's okay to use it in hiring. So DISC and a lot of others, Myers-Briggs, would even say, don't use this in hiring. And predictive index, you can. It's actually EEOC compliant. So you would want to ask about that. And then also how long does it take to do the assessment? Because a lot of times, like with Hogan, I think it takes over an hour. Could be wrong, but is it going to be a big time investment for people to use it or for candidates to use it? Those are a couple things that you might want to take a look at.
Yeah, I think that's really important when we don't have a huge attention span right now. We're crunched for time. So I think those are some great tips.
Thanks.
All right. Well, we're going to file this one under analytics.
Analytics.
And we will see you next time. Thanks.